So, Unnati, welcome to this debriefing session, and congratulations on scoring a 720.
Thank
Really good verbal score, great, good quant score. You said you didn't feel super nice about it, but let's talk about it.
you. Okay. Where do you want me to start?
You said you were hoping to get a higher score, and then
Okay. Yes. So
yeah.
actually, before prepping, I was aiming to get a 780,
Hmm.
and I was very excited. I thought I'll be able to score my desired goal. But when I took the paper, and after that, I realized that I haven't done very well. I was very disappointed. I wasn't able to sleep, eat, do anything for the next 2 days till the result came out. And so the 720 was a pleasant shock for me. It took me like half an hour to actually believe that I received the score. And I was okay. I thought maybe this will give me a one shot to actually apply for the programs that I want to. So yes, it's something that is okay. It's something that's good and maybe will help me.
Now, you are also very unique in many ways, which was the fact that you didn't take a single mock test. You took that mock zero, is what I call, but then you took the actual exam. You took a mock zero, studied, then took the actual exam, and then still did incredibly well. You're in the top 4 or 5 percentile of students worldwide. At 4 or 5 percentile of smart student worldwide. I think that's the key piece over there. So from the context of the GMAT and really good verbal score, good quant score. So I mean V40, Q49 is a really good combination over here. Um, and you took the online GMAT, right?
Yes, I did.
How was the
Yes.
experience before we go into your preparation?
So I feel experience was okay. They don't so the time in which I took the GMAT online exam, they don't give you a lot of breaks. So I took the verbal and the quantitative sections simultaneously, and I had I think a 4 or 5 minute break for integrated section.
Mhm.
So I think that worked in my favor. If I would have gotten an 8 minute break, I
Mhm.
think my mind would have stopped working. So because I attempted all the 67, 70 questions in
Mhm.
one go. I think that helped me a lot and it continued. My mind was stimulated throughout the exam. So I think that worked a lot
So
in
you
my
were in the
favor.
zone.
Yes. And
Okay.
also I was in my room. I knew what to expect. I had prepared the room according to my liking.
Mhm.
So I think it was great. I think it was better taking it at home. I was very comfortable. I was not very tensed.
Okay. Any glitches?
So I took the exam on October 20,
Mhm.
whereas I was supposed to take the exam on September 30th. But GMAC had a technical glitch from their side. So we tried for like 1 hour to take the test, but we couldn't. So we rescheduled the test. So I took it on October 20th after that.
How difficult was rescheduling?
I don't know if I'm supposed to say it.
Oh, you can say it. That's fine.
It was pretty difficult. It was
The
pretty
fact is a
difficult.
fact. See, a fact is a fact. It's very difficult
So
to reach out to them.
So they had given me a token number. They asked me to contact them and use this token number. It was a difficult
Hmm.
10, 12 days for me to actually get the code which I could use to reschedule the exam. I'll just leave
Okay.
it at that. It was difficult. It wasn't easy.
Yeah. So I think it's I think and you said so. I think the good thing which is there, which is happening from the 8th of April. I found out just today. I actually recorded a video for it today. I think it will be on our YouTube channel, probably on Saturday or Sunday. Is that they are moving away. So you did the Pearson Vue software, right? When you took the
Yes.
online GMAT, they're moving away from Pearson Vue. They are
Okay.
going from them to Examity.
Okay.
Examity is a company that actually conducts online proctored online tests for Google and Facebook and pretty much everyone.
Okay.
So that's all that it does.
Okay.
So my hope is, and I'm pretty certain because the company exists to conduct online proctor tests versus Pearson Views, probably it's 2% of their business right now. So
Okay.
Examity would be a much more smooth experience.
Much more efficient also.
Oh, it's
Okay.
much more efficient. I mean, they build all the technology themselves.
Okay.
So and that's why they exist. If people have such experiences, they would cease to exist.
Then it's good for the future students who will take the exams. It's
Yes,
very
and
good
which is
because it's all a time to wait for that much of time.
I agree. I agree. So let's start with your preparation now. You did your preparation in two phases. Let's start with that mock zero. What did you do for first 2 months, and then I think let's go from there.
Um, yes, so I had a senior in college who was taking the GMAT exam, and she had collected a lot of online PDF materials, books, and there was this huge ass folder that I knew if I could go through all the books, I knew I could achieve my score. But after going through like 6 7 books, I realized that I the quant is where I wanted to be at, but in verbal I sucked at critical reasoning and sentence comprehension. So sorry,
Sentence
sentence
correction.
correction. Sorry, so sorry, so
It's
sorry.
been so long for you.
It's
You've
been
been in that.
actually I had to before taking this in, before giving this interview, I knew I had to learn some. I have to redo the entire thing. So I went through my materials. I went through stuff. So I actually know what I did at that time. Yes.
But let's kind of take. So you took a mock zero, right? Even before you started reading those
Yes.
books. So that was a
Yes.
600 score, is what we talked about. So what
Yes.
was the split? Do you remember that split? I know I'm
So
pressing
I
a
had
lot.
actually no, I remember this thing. I remember because I was shocked. I had got a V27 and Q49.
Okay, so your quant was still where it was. V now
Yes.
27, which was less than 50th percentile to 91st
Yes.
percentile right now.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So then you studied for using those. You said you spent 2 months on those 7 books or so
Yes.
that you did, and you realized that sentence correction and critical reasoning was
Is not.
is not up
It's
to
not.
mark.
Yeah.
So then you
Yeah.
bought the e-GMAT course.
Yes.
So what was the difference when you bought the e-GMAT course?
So I think the best part of the e-GMAT curriculum was the master comprehension thing. I think it was the first course that we were supposed to take before actually starting on the verbal work,
Hmm.
and master comprehension just set me down on the right path. It had suddenly become very easy for me to read and to figure out where things actually might go wrong. So master comprehension was a boon. It still helps me to this day, even after taking the exam. So it's not
Hmm.
something that I'm going to forget, and it's very useful. So I think the way it is designed, I think, did you guys consult some psychologist research study or something? Because I
This is
feel
all
it,
Pile's magic. Everything that's on the platform is Pile. Just to tell you.
okay. Because
Yes.
it became very easy for the brain to actually understand complex sentences, and God knows how tough sentences are on GMAT. Matlab, you have to go through like 3 or 4 times to actually understand what they're saying, and because of master comprehension, I could understand it in once or maximum 2 times for both CR and sentence correction. So yes, master comprehension was a great boost for me.
Hmm.
And for sentence correction, I think the amount of practice that I had for each section, both for sentence correction, critical reasoning, the
Hmm.
breakup was so good that I knew what I was expecting. And also the combination, they had this thing ki, I'm supposed to go through each sections, whether there's a verb problem, there's a modify problem, or a
Hmm.
parallelism problem. So
Hmm.
that breakup helped me a lot.
Okay. The fact that the module structure is what we call it.
Yes, yes,
So the
yes.
fact that it was subject, verb,
So in the
and then
end,
verbs.
actually, I think that combined also to actually apply all the
Yes.
modules together. So that was very good. Yes,
That's the application file. So
yes,
I think I want to just show the piece, which is what I want to tell everyone. So for me, when I look at how diligent a student is, I look at these average scores first, because this shows how diligent you are. Then I look at the time spent, and you see over here 40 minutes. So we have these concepts which we know are a bit more intense. Subject verb makes sense is an intense concept. Similarly, in modifiers, when I go over here, modifier application files are a bit more intense. And then I see good time spent in these files over here, so which is good. Comparisons, very similarly, the application files are good. This, I don't know why it's just 8 minutes. You probably just breeze through it um, over here, but in general, that's what I look at with regards to the scores and the time spent, because the combination of both tells me the diligence level that you have as an individual. um, Now, before you went through the e-GMAT course, you studied sentence correction during those first 2 months. Were you using the meaning-based approach?
I wasn't. I was just trying to get in my head, is it sounding nice? Is it sounding correct? And that approach, I think, just blew up sentence correction for me. I was just trying to apply it using a hunch, if this
Hmm.
feels right or not, if this feels good or not. So I think that's very stupid of me initially. Yes.
Oh no, that's what's taught people, right? You That's what's taught in those books primarily. Now, then, when you applied the meaning-based approach, how did it change for you with regards to your outlook towards sentence correction questions?
So I'll say more on the meaning-based approach. Again, I'll go back to master comprehension. I think it's holy grail for me.
Oh, it is, yes.
So it taught us how to connect sentences and how to connect meanings. So more than the actual sentence correction module, I think the master comprehension told me how to understand things. So
Mhm.
that was where I lagged, and because of it, my sentence correction actually it improved as a result of me doing that master comprehension thing very diligently. So I'll again go back to that
Yeah,
because the
you're
it's
right.
very easy for me to understand it.
Yeah, I just
Yes,
add this in context. My daughter is about 13, and so she.
also it helped me a lot because they have
Sorry, I think the internet went a bit off. So you were saying, Unnati?
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
I was just saying how it helped me to actually understand sentences, and it had an application in RC as well, because in RC there was a lot of redundant information in passages. There are so many data, so many figures, and when I took the exam, I faced a lot of historical and journalism questions, something which I'm not at all familiar with. But because of what I had studied, it was very easy for me to actually understand the passages. So yes.
So I was going to say a very similar example. So my daughter is 13,
Mhm.
and and she's building a project. She builds this does this one national history trip project every year, which is about a 6 month long project where you're supposed to take a topic in history and build write a paper on it or build a website around it. It's a national level competition. About 40,000 kids compete in this. So so so
Okay.
so she reads. So to do that, you've got to do a lot of research, and you have to read history books which are very densely written. So she's someone who's grown up in the States. As she is a native speaker, but she had difficulty reading this. So we had her go through the master comprehension course. So got a couple of passages and was like, Dad, I can't understand. Like, okay, go through this course, break it down, and then if you still can't understand, then come to me. And she could. So and regardless of whether you're a native or a non-native, it's just the process of breaking things down into digestible chunks helps a lot.
Yes.
So now let's go to critical reasoning then. So how did things go in critical reasoning? How did your approach change when you went through the critical reasoning course?
So in critical reasoning, what helped me was earlier I used to read the sentence first and then what was asked of me.
Hmm.
After doing the critical reasoning course, I always focused first on the question stem, what it is actually asking me to reason. And I
Hmm.
had a problem in determining whether it's a weekend question or a flaw question or whatever it is.
Hmm.
So, and I also face a lot of problem in the inference and assumption part. I
Hmm.
had tremendous problem in actually determining the solution to these problems.
Hmm.
But because of the approach that we were taught for both assumption and inference, I'll focus on these two because
Hmm.
these were my biggest weaknesses in CR. It helped me. And actually understanding how things are connected, what is actually the right assumption and what is just wishful thinking. So, yes, this helped me.
Okay. Were you doing pre-thinking when you read books?
I'm sorry.
Were you
I
doing pre-thinking when you started using books?
Yes, I did. I did. So pre-thinking actually helped me a lot.
No, no,
So
no.
when
When you
I
started
got
in your
to
phase one, were you doing
yes, no,
pre-thinking
no,
at the?
okay, that, no, I wasn't. I was
Okay.
just trying to go through the answers and see what fits the best, and I used to select that.
So the approach was very similar to what it was in sentence correction. What sounds right? What fits best? Okay.
And
All right.
also,
Well, go ahead.
no, so also I think what I did wrong was I'll assume more than what is actually given in the passage. So e-GMAT told me what is actually the right way to assume and inference on things. So that is what helped me a lot. Otherwise, my assumptions were always wrong. I just assume things that were not mentioned in the passage. And because I already know of the subject, I think it is a logical continuation of what was given, which was in fact the wrong approach.
Okay.
Yes.
You also use Scholaranium a lot. I'm actually looking at your Scholaranium attempts. You've done about 500 questions in 450 questions in Scholaranium or so.
Okay.
So for practice, how did you use it, and how did that platform help you then?
So I think the first time I actually used Scholaranium, my approach was not right. My approach was just to hit as many questions as I can,
Hmm.
and then we'll see whether it's correct or not. But after actually going through the solutions and understanding the right patterns, I think I started
Hmm.
setting tests for me that were more correct. So yes, Scholaranium just cemented the concepts that I had already learned for
You use the
Gen
word
Z.
cementing. Do you use cementing quizzes? Because we use this word internally, so that's why I'm curious.
No,
No, it's like I am now looking at this. Like, did you do cementing quizzes? And
I
then,
think I did one or two.
hmm.
I was not very good at cementing quizzes because I think they had easy and medium version, right? Of 15 questions each.
No, that's ability quizzes.
Okay, that's
That
a
primarily had hard questions to begin with.
okay.
And but yes, I can see that a lot of your quizzes are custom quizzes only that you created uh, over there. So you didn't do a lot, but you used the word cementing, so that's what drew my attention um, as to did you use cementing quizzes over there? So that's good. I mean, I see again good accuracy in medium and hard questions, which is what I look at. Take a look at as a litmus test for me. So that's really good
I
to
don't
see
think
as
I did very well in Scholaranium for the SC part. I don't think I did very well in Scholaranium. I think it was okay only. It was decent.
I
I think
think
like
you're
60
comparing
was
two
very
different
good. Yes.
benchmarks. You're
Okay.
comparing how you did in the course, where you
Okay.
have 80 to 100%,
Okay.
to how you're doing in Scholaranium,
Okay.
and the benchmarks are different because uh, so again that's where you have to understand a person who scores a V40 in on the GMAT gets about 60 to 61% accuracy in hard questions. That's a
Okay.
V40. That's 91st percentile.
Okay.
So again, I don't know if you are a complex math person, but if you were to build models, this is kind of so. Think about it this way: the average accuracy of a hard question is about 40%. Okay, so if you go in the world of probability, 40 to 45%, our threshold is below 50%. Now,
Okay.
if
Okay. Now I understand.
yes, so if you're doing 10 questions and you're getting 6 to 7 of them correct, if you look at the likelihood chart of it, you would start to go in that 85, 90 percentile automatically.
Okay, so I was not judging myself according to this. So in
Yes.
Scholaranium, there was this thing that if it's green, it's excellent. If it's ochre or
Hmm,
oranges, then
yes,
it's black.
yes.
So I was comparing myself to that. That I have to get into that green portion if it
Hmm.
has to be excellent. So yes.
Yes. So if you look at this over here, I'm going to share your screen. I think barring CR, which is where part of it. So the CR in hard, that's the only place I think where you're kind of red, and in SC you're kind of still in the place RC. Of course, you didn't practice a whole lot, but oh, you did. Oh, yeah, you didn't practice a whole lot, but you're fantastic over here. Medium CR, you're fine. You're getting there pretty much. And SC, you are there. And easy, I don't know. I don't think you did a whole lot, but yeah, easy, you're there. But hard for me, this threshold is 55%.
Okay.
So if you are above 55%, you are that just that V37, V38 student for me. So so yeah, overall, that's really good. Congratulations once again on that 720. Um, if you were to do this again from the very get-go, what would you do and what would you not do in your preparation?
Again, like the entire thing, what I
Yes,
wouldn't do.
let's assume, yeah, you were at that 600 score, but you
Okay.
knew what you know today.
I wouldn't waste my 2 months on actually going through books. I feel GMAT is an exam where you actually need guidance. There are so many tips and tricks that it's very difficult to understand on its own. There is some sort of guidance that's needed. I won't say personal tutoring is the answer. I loved the way the curriculum of e-GMAT works. It's so dependent on me that I found it very easy. That whenever I'm free, whenever I have time, I can just start taking classes. So what I will do is I won't waste those 2 months. I'll immediately enroll in this course and I'll start working according to my speed and the way that I actually want to study. There's a lot of flexibility I feel that this
Hmm.
gives. And
It
also,
does.
yes, so that was a great plus for me.
Would you not take a couple of more mocks?
Mocks.
You might have gotten that 740, 750 even today had you taken two mocks.
So I'll tell you something. I don't study how conventionally people do study. I believe in studying for a long period of time at one go. Say like 10, 12, 13 hours, then I won't study for 2 days, because whatever I've studied in that long period of time, it's just in my mind and I'm constantly replaying it in my head. So I'm constantly thinking over it, mulling over it, understanding how this works, how this not works. So I feel if I take the mock and if I don't actually score how much I want, it will just dampen my spirits and I wouldn't want to do it again. So I was just praying that I'm taking the exam straight on GMAT. I just hope that whatever I've studied, it works.
Okay, fair point. I agree with that. At the same time, there's a certain merit to taking a mock, because it is a long test, and there is the aspect of conditioning. I always say that taking mocks is about 10 to 15% of your performance. It could enhance your performance by 10 to 15%. Now, the way you study is the right way to study. I don't expect people to study for 12 hours and then not study for 2 days. But the principle is right, that you need to absorb what you've studied. And which is very true. People who don't absorb, people who study, and study just overwrite what they're doing. So you did that, and that's what I'm saying. It's like you are. It's like polishing a shoe. You can apply a lot of polish, but to get to that precise shine, you also have to use the cloth to shine it off, which doesn't have any polish, to smoothen it out, and that's what a mock does. So don't take mocks in process, but once, because you were taking enough quizzes, you were getting those results. So frankly, for example, had you taken another test 10 days after or 15 days after, you probably would have scored higher, just because of your actual test experience. It does. I mean, the body does get used to it, and it's everything. I mean, uh, I don't know if you follow cricket, but if the same player goes on the same pitch and bats again, or the bowler goes and bowls again, having the knowledge of that pitch, in addition to the skill in bowling or batting, is going to help adapt, which is what mocks do. They help us adapt a bit. So,
I
so
guess I'll
that
take this into account the next time I take the exam. If I need to take the exam, then this is something that I'll surely do.
here is something that I would recommend that you do. Finish that. I'm not going to say which application, because you're on record. So finish that application that you're working on.
Okay.
Take the GMAT again and update your scores. You might be pleasantly surprised the kind of impact that it has, especially if you get a 750.
Okay.
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 So because I mean you've already applied to 4, you're applying to the 5th one right now, right? So
Yes.
and they will still take that into consideration before, if their decisions are not out.
Okay.
So that's what my recommendation would be. If you can get a 750, it'll do a world of good, to both your chances of admission as well as your chance of getting a scholarship.
Okay.
And especially if you're going to be spending that much money, spend $250, take it again.
Okay.
Yeah, because I've had students who recently we I was talking to a student who scored a 730. Again, she's applying to B schools, not MIM programs. Applied to 4 schools, 3 of them waitlisted her. Before the 4th one could actually give a decision, the 4th one was the highest ranked out of those, that group. She took the GMAT again. That's when she became an e-GMAT student, improved from that 730 to 760. The 4th school, which was the most selective, with that 760, admitted her with scholarship.
Okay. Okay.
So, so, uh, so yeah, I would recommend that, enhance, improve. I mean, it's a worthy strategic option to take. You're a finance person, you know strategic options, or you're going to learn strategic
Yes.
options if you have not learned. This is a worthy strategic option to put.
It does have a certain ring to it. I'll
Mm.
be sure to study and go through this again. I'll see what I can do. If I can take this again or not.
Yeah,
If I can, I'll surely do it.
yeah. Take to seven, get a 750. I mean, you'd be surprised what that does to your chances.
Okay.
Okay. One of the other things, I'd request that, if you can provide a review of the e-GMAT course on GMAT Club, if you've not done that already.
On GMAT Club. Okay, I'll do.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So And yeah, so that's something that I'd recommend that you do. And to provide a review, you will need to provide your proof that you've taken the test.
Okay.
So they'll ask you to go about doing that because they need an official score report. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you, Unnati. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Same here. Thank
Okay.
you.
And good luck. And do let me know how those results pan out.
Okay. For sure. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.